Associate today. We want to welcome everyone to the Unitarian Universalist Church, Roanoke, and a special welcome if you're joining us for the first time, and also to say welcome to those who are joining us on YouTube today. Our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur. He's with us this morning, and I'm sorry, I did not write down the title.
Upside down.
Upside down and inside out, magical thinking. Thank you, sir. And just a reminder to be sure and silence your cell phones.
You have announcements? About notice after church this morning. Is it there? There are a couple announcements we'd like to make. And that is that one is don't forget the Camp Stuffy Plushie is coming in 2 weeks. Get your registration in as soon as possible to reserve a spot for your wee friends. All ages are invited to send a stuffed animal to camp. And if you don't have one, you can choose a foster stuffy to send after service. Trucks, planes, dragons, and bears, hard or soft, large or small, all are welcome at Camp Stuffy Plushie. Middle and high schoolers will be making blankets for the project of Linus, beginning this Sunday between 12:30 and 2 in the Olin Room. Our goal is 12 blankets by February 20 that will go from you to children who need them here in the Roanoke area. No sew fleeces. No suits. What do you say this thing? What is that? Thank you. That's the word. Blanket kits will be provided for those of you on YouTube or offsite. If you'd like to arrange to pick up a kit, you may do so by contacting Jesse. Shortly following the service in February, that's all month long, including this morning, board members Matt Livingston and Walker Hartman will be sharing a presentation on stewardship. It'll include the results from their analysis on pledging at UUCR over the last 10 years. A Zoom call will be scheduled later this month for those who are choosing not to attend Sunday services in person. And following the service today, we'll have blanket crafting for youth and the young at heart in the Olin Room. The blankets will be donated to the Linus Project. Blankets are collected locally and distributed to children in hospitals, shelters, social service agencies, or anywhere that a child might be in need of a big hug. If you'd like to help or donate, please get in contact with Jesse or stop by after the service. And you may already have heard that on February 20, there will be a memorial service to celebrate the life of Daniel Inking. The service will be in the Fellowship Hall. It'll go from 1 to 4. If you plan to attend, please reach out to Samantha Lucas, our office admin in the church. As is our tradition, we'll begin this morning by ringing the bell 7 times in honor and recognition of our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles. and I'll speak the words of our congregational covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
The opening music today is Wade in the Water. Reverend Walter specifically requested this. And I gave some of you shaky eggs. You don't need those eggs for this song, but you do need something else for this song. I'm going to show you. You need your hands. So what we're going to do, can you hear me if I just stop like this? I'm sorry, people on YouTube. Okay. Is up now. I cannot snap, but I'm sure many of you can. For those of you who are uncertain, we're going to do the snap. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to do it without ceasing. No matter what I do. On the downbeat. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Yeah. For those of you who have a little more confidence in your abilities, which might be everybody, you're going to go every other time you hear 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Right? It's like water. 2, 3, 4. Water. Got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Water. And yeah. Got it? All right. No matter what I do, you've got it. Okay, we'll do practice rounds with me just playing and not singing. Because once I start singing and playing, everything might change. You got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Snappers go. 1, 2, 3, and. Oh my gosh, it worked. 2, 3, 4. Da, da, da. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Bum, bum, bum. See that? The water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. It looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Thank you for helping me.
I did ask for that. It's felt like the right thing for us to begin this Sunday with. Our opening words this morning. Black History Month, also called African American History Month, originated in the United States with Black educators and a group called the Black United Students at Kent State University, 1969. The first celebration came a year later, and within 6 years, it was celebrated across the country, mostly in educational institutions and Black cultural centers. President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month in 1976 during the celebration of the United States bicentennial. He urged Americans to, and I quote, seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Our chalice lighting words. Teresa, come light the chalice. In the words of historian Carter Woodson, who in 1926 helped create Negro History Week, he said, "If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated."
To bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of love.
My name is Jeffy, and this is my friend Sandy. And Sandy's here representing all kids because we have a book to read today. Want to share? Okay.
Sorry.
This is a book called What Can a Citizen Do? And I'm going to leave my mask on because I'm so close to Sandy. And it's written by Dave Eggers and illustrated by Sean Harris. Now, Sandy can see these pictures really well, and I can hold them up for you guys to see them, but if you really want to see them up, free to find me after the service and browse the wonderful book that we have special permission to read. What in the world can a citizen do? We have a picture of a kid looking out the window at somebody else. Who can a citizen be? A citizen is just like you. Did you know that you're a citizen?
Kind of.
Kind of. That's awesome. A citizen can plant a tree. Have you ever planted a tree?
I've always wanted to, but we don't get very good seeds.
Well, maybe we can plant a tree here.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool. A citizen can help a neighbor. A citizen can join a cause, just like those citizens that Rev Walter told us about. All these citizens are getting together. I wonder what they're going to do. A citizen can write a letter. This letter says, "No trumpets." A citizen can help change laws. So some of these citizens are happy about these laws, but is that person happy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And this person that plays the trumpet, are they happy?
No.
Yeah, definitely not happy because the law is no trumpets.
Yeah.
But they changed it. What does that say right there?
No.
Yeah, they crossed off the N and made it say?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, trumpets. Okay, trumpets. We're okay with trumpets because we changed the law, didn't we?
Yeah.
A citizen can right a wrong. A citizen can turn things around. So this person's playing the trumpet backwards. Yeah. And then now they're playing very well because they're playing it the right way. A citizen can get things right side up that have been upside down. And what did he do?
He put the turtle upside down and then he put it back.
Yeah, he helped that turtle turn over.
Aw.
Sometimes we have to help each other turn over, don't we?
Yeah.
A citizen should be engaged. A citizen should care and care. Do you care about the people around you?
A lot.
I do too. I care about you.
I care about you.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. A citizen should build things and save things. A citizen can be a bear. Did you know one time we had a bear at church?
Oh.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the night. We weren't here, luckily. Yes, a citizen can be a bear, and a citizen can be a kid. A citizen can be a kid. A citizen can wear pink pants. I love pink pants. A citizen cannot stay hid. Sometimes we have to go out and do things, like what are they doing in this storm?
It's kind of hard to see because there's a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of rain. It's hard to see what they're doing. They're holding umbrellas for each other.
Oh.
A citizen's not what you are. A citizen is what you do. And this bear is riding a bicycle. And wearing pink pants too. There's a lot going on with this bear. A citizen cannot forget the world is more than just you. So part of being a citizen is being together and helping out, like all these folks are helping out. And that bear, that bicycle was raising the elevator so everybody can get to a treehouse. We are part of a society, which is a big group of people, one full of joy and pain. There's some pain sometimes, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah. A land of latticed people, none of us the same. And latticed is like all over the place. We're spread out and we're all different, but we're all connected. Just like vines that grow on a lattice. And if we help just one lonely soul, we open doors, we bring in light, we bind us all and make us whole. There's a young man who needs help. What do you think these citizens are going to do?
Help him.
I think you're right. So forget yourself for a second. Grab a shovel or a pen. Do something for another. Don't dare doubt that you can. I wonder what he's doing. He's plugging something in. Everything makes an impact on a bigger big than you or me. Oh my goodness, it all starts with the question, what can a citizen do? That citizen, they went to him, they invited him to their treehouse, and he plugged the lights in, so now they can all see at night in their treehouse. You know, sometimes things are dark and we need somebody else to help plug in the light. Would you plug in a light for me?
Yep.
I'd plug in a light for you. Thanks for joining me, Sandy. Thank you, everybody.
Our reading today is from Robin DiAngelo. She's the author of the excellent book, White Fragility, that is on the reading list for our racial justice team. This story is about Jackie Robinson. He's celebrated as the first Afro-American to break the so-called color line and be able to play in the Major League Baseball. While Robinson was certainly an exceptional baseball player, framing the story this way depicts him as racially special. The subtext is that Robinson was the first Black athlete strong enough to overcome the barriers preventing Blacks from competing with whites. No Black athletes before him were skilled enough to do so. While this tagline does elevate Robinson as an individual, it also implicitly positions African Americans overall as inferior. It also falsely propagates the belief that racism in sports ended with Robinson, implying that current struggles against racism in sports are unnecessary. Imagine instead if the story of Jackie Robinson went something like this. Jackie Robinson was the first black man whites allowed to play in Major League Baseball. This telling acknowledges the role of white control. It simply wasn't up to Robinson. If he'd walked on the field before being granted permission by the white owners and policymakers, the police would have removed him. Critically, the real Jackie Robinson story is the story of the relationship between blacks and whites in this country, between the individual black man and a white institution. Reframing race in the Jackie Robinson story reveals white structures of power and the strategies used by those who contested that power, strategies that we can build upon today as we work for racial justice.
Each week, pick up a collection for the funding of this church and its mission work. And I understand out there that says that giving makes the heart sing.
This piece is called Man from Samuel
This congregation has a long history with an impact in the Roanoke area. Your contributions will help sustain the work of this into the future. And we ask that you understand and appreciate the need for volunteerism in addition to our finances. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. The population. In this country. It's an American history possible only because of slaves, colored people, Negroes, blacks. Our people have been called. Black History Month this year is unlike any Black History Month that I have experienced. This year, it's almost like a precursor to the reenactment of the Boston Tea Party, the battle at Antietam, the battle at Appomattox. The outcome now is uncertain. What is uncertain, but unequivocal, is there is a battle raging in these United States of America today. That is the battle raging. And like the last Civil War, it's likely to go on for quite some time. But let there be no doubt. Let there be no doubt. America is at war with itself once again. There is a civil war, an uncivil war going on in this country. And while the details, the mechanism, the strategies may have changed, the root cause has not. The issue at hand is what's to be done with Black folks in this country? What's to be done with those folks? Those folks. Will this country finally grant full citizenship, allow full human agency to the Black population? Will Black people be allowed to claim Finally, their full 5/5 of humanity. Here in the United States of America, the land they call free, home of the brave, with liberty and justice, they say, for all. Good people, we are at another fundamental turning point in the history of this nation. Some said a republic, if you can keep it. There's a segment of our society that lays claim to ownership of this country. The word ownership is not a throwaway term that I'm using. It is the term that most accurately describes the attitude and behavior of white men in this country. Columbus discovered the place, after all, right? I'm going to stop though for a moment so that I can acknowledge that the hair on the back of some folks' necks may have just gone up when I use the term white men. I want to acknowledge, I want to stipulate, in fact, those words do not fairly describe all white men. But it is the correct term to describe a singular category of people while saying nothing about the individual, saying nothing about the individual component parts of that category of people. As a culture, we seem comfortable with terms such as gays, lesbian, women, high school dropout, football players, without needing or being required to acknowledge the individuality of the component parts of those various categories. The ability to categorize is an important function in any language. It's important because if we are to have a Black History Month, then white folks need to be clear that they have 11 White History Months in any given year. Whether it's planned that way or that way by default, that's a trade-off. Now, just because it's not stated doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That's the underlying issue with all the fuss about nominating a Black woman to the Supreme Court. White men, you see, our society at large, fail to see they are more than individuals. White men in our society at large fail to see themselves as a singular category. That goes for the broader population of white folks. A singular category. And at the same time, however, we talk about women jurists, Black jurists, when individuals are placed up in front of us. Some folks are seen to represent a group, while others are defined by their individuality. That dynamic, individuality, is a fascinating mirror image. The point at which a threat or challenge is experienced, these same individuals claim groupness. The Civil War was fought over the right of white people to own slaves. Not Johnny Jones's right, but white people's rights. It even got called states' rights. sometimes individuality, sometimes groupness. It was an enthusiastic claiming of their rights, the claiming of their place in the world, the claiming of their importance, their supremacy, the claiming of ownership. We found that dynamic got played out not very long ago in Charlottesville. There was a claiming by a group of people marching with tiki torches through the streets of Charlottesville, claiming their rights, claiming their proper place in the world, claiming their importance, their supremacy. They proclaimed, Jews will not replace us. That whole dynamic that unfolded, the ugliness of it all, in a time gone by, could have easily been the precursor of a public lynching. A similar but different dynamic emerged following the election of the first Black president of the United States. A tea party was held. The entire country was invited. Well, not everybody. It included a large number of people in various parts of the country. It included landowners and non-landowners, funded largely by corporate money and the money of wealthy folks. It included everyday people and those elected to local, state, and national office. While nominally stated to be supportive of particular political issues, particular concerns, it came into being just after the nation elected its first Black president. It came into being in the same time frame that the Senate Majority Leader stated explicitly, bluntly, that the primary focus of him, his party, and the position in the government was to make this man a one-term president. He stated it right out loud. He didn't talk about, we want to work hard and defend our policy positions. He didn't talk about that. He said explicitly, make him a one-term president. They were committed to blocking any and all of the presidential initiatives. There was no pretense of policy. Their intent was for the president to fail. They weren't talking policy. The focus was making that person a one-term president. While the Senate Majority Leader failed to keep the president from being reelected, he and his party fertilized the ground for a more overt form of bigotry. The divisiveness, the resentments, and thinly veiled bigotry ushered in a more overt bigotry without any pretense of being otherwise. An unabashedly crass and elegant, nominally rich game show host was vaulted into the most powerful position in the land, some would argue the most powerful position in the world. What had to be What had been too ugly to be said out loud became the vernacular of the day. For years, the vernacular of the day. Intentionally mean-spirited policies became the stock in trade. In fact, the stock in trade of an entire political party. It seemed to thrill a sizable segment of the citizenry. The groundwork for such an ascension was heavily fertilized by the increasing visibility of something called Black Lives Matter. It was movement. Fueled in large measure by cell phones filming what many name police brutality and the subsequent lack of accountability. Both before and at the same time, white people were writing popular books about systemic racism. Tim Wise may be one of the more prolific names, including one of his books in particular, entitled White Like Me, Reflections on Race from a Privileged Son. And he wrote another book entitled White Lives Matter. Robin DiAngelo, whom we quoted earlier this morning, was the main speaker at a General Assembly a few years ago, the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly held annually. The reading this morning was from one of her books, White Fragility, with the tagline, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. We live in a time of great backlash to a visible and a persistent challenge to the manifestations of white supremacy, of whiteness as a normative construct. As I mentioned earlier, when those who are highly individualized feel some sense of threat, the tendency is to collapse into a we-ness. So we've gone from individuals to a we-ness. A need to defend themselves, their sense of normalcy, how things are supposed to be, to defend their rightful place in the world. So folks, welcome to Black History Month in the year 2022. It arrived with some 20 or more historically Black colleges and universities receiving bomb threats in the middle of the night, closing down schools, canceling classes, disrupting any sense of normalcy. No, perhaps it was the work of one or two people. Perhaps it's an orchestrated plan. But regardless, such threats are designed to intimidate, designed to disrupt, to destroy any sense of safety. It's designed to express and to exert power over. So here we are. It's February in the year 2022. Take a deep breath with me because we need it. Take a deep breath. Breathe. When I was a student minister, I was told by my mentor that all sermons should end with the good news. Good luck with that, right? Well, it's hard to find good news these days. begin with the truth that we are still alive, breathing. We're grounded in our UU principles. And this church, Unitarian Church of Roanoke, has already begun to engage issues of race and white privilege. It's good news. It's good news that we are a covenanted people, committed to being in relationship with one another, caring for one another. It's good news that we are not alone. It's good news that we each have personal and independent agency, that we have the ability to choose. And perhaps most importantly, please know it is not the job of any one of us to fix the world. So let that be done. It's not your job. Perhaps our work is simply to help make the little corner of this world that we operate just a little bit better as a result of us walking on this earth. Godspeed. Amen. And Ashe.
I'm Jane Harrison from the Caring Committee, and one of the many jobs that we do is to discuss the joys and concerns of this congregation. If you have a joy or concern that you wish to share, you can call the church office, you can tell somebody in the Caring Committee, or you can write in the Lifelines book, which is normally kept in a little pulpit out in the corner next to the name tags, or on Sunday mornings it's kept on the altar here. And we will be glad to share those joys and concerns. If you have a silent joy or a concern you wish to share, we have in the back, and we also have over here a bowl of water, and you can put a pebble in it for your joys and concerns that are special to you. This morning, let us enter into this time of reverence together. I apparently have a message here from Dotsie. She would like your prayers. This is a concern for her. Isaiah Robinson, a loving, achieving, solid Patrick Henry student who was shot and killed Friday night. And for the prayers for all those students living through these difficult times that we're going through locally. I have no other joys and concerns, so Reverend Walter and I will light the candle this time.
Join me in a moment of prayer. Great Spirit of the universe, known by so many names, by no name at all, be with us this day. Be with us because the times ask more of us than we're used to giving. So much of our time and energy has gone into simply being safe, remaining behind closed doors, fearful of visiting with our very best friends, even visiting with family. It has taken a toll. Dear one, where and how do we find rest in such times? Times in which there is much tumult in the public square, in politics, where there is so much tension between those who do and those who refuse to wear a mask in service of safety to themselves and others. Help us, Lord, Spirit of life, to be humble. Help us be accepting simply what is. Help us to accept what is. Help us to allow ourselves to feel driven. Help us to allow ourselves not to be driven. To fix things. For fixing things in this world is a fool's errand and above our pay grade. Help us to be brave and to trust that one step will lead to another step, and that the sun will rise again in the morning, providing us another opportunity to fully engage this life that we have been given. Amen. And Ashe.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul.
We have one additional announcement, and if we don't make it, Lorraine Fleck will probably shoot me. Just a reminder that we're continuing to accept donations to our special collection for the West End Center. You may remember that the West End Center is a safe after-school haven for over 150 children and youth in some of our most disadvantaged areas of the city. They offer tutoring, healthy meals and snacks, and programs in time management, leadership, peace building, school dropout prevention, pregnancy prevention, and parent support. It's an excellent organization, and they really do a lot to help the children and youth of our city.
This last song, this is why some of you have shaky eggs that you've been waiting to shake. So this is Woyaya, and if you know it, you can hum along, but you can also shake your shaker. In any way you want to shake. We are called And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. What we know within. And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
That people know that you're enough. Know that you are on this earth to do what is yours to do. Do it well, because it does make a difference. Go into your week.